All right, so we are going to be talking about a while loop in Python while using turtle graphics. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I'm going to make two different turtles. Okay, one's going to be named Bob and one's going to be named Larry. So let's say Bob, and we're going to create a turtle object. So we're going to say trtl.turtle. Oh, wow, I really can't spell. Okay, and then I'm going to create a second turtle called Larry. Okay, trtl.turtle. All right, we have two turtles. Let's go ahead and let's say bob.pen up, okay, which means I'm going to pick the pen up off the screen, and I'll say bob.go to, his starting point is going to be 0, 50. Okay, that's where he's going to start. And then we'll say bob.pen down. Okay, and I'll go ahead and make some comments here. I'll just say import turtle. I'll say turtle graphics. And then we'll go ahead and say creating turtle objects. All right, and we'll say set Bob and Larry locations. Okay, so that's going to be Bob. I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this, and I'm just going to say Larry.penup. Larry, let's not have him go to 0, 50. Let's have him go to 0, negative 50. Okay, and then we'll say Larry pen down. So really what we've done is we've set starting locations for both Bob and Larry. So if I were to run this, I'll move this up and out of the way. So you see that I have Bob up here and Larry down here. Okay, so that's just setting the starting locations. Okay, start locations. And I'll just actually keep this down here. I'll make a comment and I'll say create screen and keep open. All right, so now we are going to be talking about Bob. What I want Bob to do is I want Bob to draw a square. So I'm going to just say Bob's square. And Bob's going to go the long way. Bob's going to say Bob dot forward, let's say forward 50, and then Bob dot, let's have him turn 90 degrees. And so he does that once, does it twice, I'm just copying and pasting, does it 3 times, and does it 4 times. So that should make Bob make a square. Let's see. Stop this and let's rerun it. Okay, there's Bob's square. Simple enough. So that's the way Bob created a square. Now forward, right, forward, right, forward, right, forward, right. Yeah, you're writing the same code over and over and over again. Forward 50, right 90, forward 50, right 90. So Larry's going to do it the smarter way using a loop. Okay, so I'll say Larry's square. What we're going to do is we're going to create a while loop. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set a counter. So the number of times that we're going to go through the loop. Okay, we're going to want to loop through this 4 times, but the counter we want to start at 0 because it hasn't actually gone yet. So the counter is the variable that we're creating. We can name it whatever you want. You can call it x, y, or num, or whatever you really want. I'm using counter in this example, just counting the number of times we've gone through it. Okay, so I'm going to say while counter is less than 4, okay, because there's 4 sides. While it's less than 4, then keep saying Larry dot forward 50. Say Larry dot right 90, and then we'll add 1 to the counter every single time. So we'll add 1 and assign it to counter. So really what this does is, okay, the counter starts at 0. Okay, basically saying, is counter less than 4? Yes. So it's going to do all of this. And then it'll come back to the beginning. It'll add 1 to the counter and say, is counter still less than 4? And the answer is yes, because it's 1. Okay, it's going to loop through. And let's go through and let's run this, and I'll show you what happens. All right, I think I might have skipped there. So I'm going to go ahead and run it again. There we go, so we can see it. And if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that the square was actually drawn. Sometimes when you're zoomed out, you can't see the full square. All right, so as you see every time, this is like, make me go nuts. Every time you look at this, you see that, Bob's code, it worked, and it drew a square. It drew the same square, but Larry was able to draw a square in less lines of code. Now think about it. I know we didn't really save a lot of lines, but by using loops, we can actually save a lot of lines of code. Like, let's say you wanted to make an octagon, right? And you want to turn right 45, but you wanted to go through 8 times. All you would have to do is change this number to 8 and change the degree to 45, and you could draw an octagon. Okay, so the while loop allows you to write less code, and it allows you to control things better. Let's say you wanted to go through all these lines, instead of making it forward 50, you want it forward 100. You'd have to change here, 2, 3, 4 different places, where here, all I would have to do is change that, right? So now, if you look at the difference, right? Once I run it, okay, it's going to draw a bigger square down here. All I had to change was this one number instead of going through 1, 2, 3, 4 and changing it 4 times. And you can imagine with longer programs how that might become tedious and boring and just too much work. Okay, so a loop allows us to save the lines of code number of lines of code that we write. And in this example, we're using it with Turtle and drawing different shapes. So do know that you don't have to use while loops to make your program work, but it makes it easier, it makes it flow better. So in this case, Bob did it the hard way, Larry did it the more efficient way.